Thank you for joining us today at Miniature Wargaming Labs. Today we'll be painting our Enforcer Sanctioner pattern Automata for our games of Necromunda. And now, so you see I've got one that I picked for Underhive deployment and one for Ash Wastes. The arms I didn't glue in, that way I can swap between the models. For this video we're going to paint the Ash Waste version. You know, if you want to do the Underhive version, just paint the base metal, a little less dusting. But for this model, what I used, because I go crazy with my Necromunda ones, is Prime Dim Army Painter Black. I used Army Painter paints Gunmetal, Shining Silver, Wolf Gray, Matte White, Pure Red, Snake Scales, and Flesh Wash. I used a lot of Vallejo for this one because I wanted my guy to be like my other Palanite Enforcers, but look like he got a similar but different paint job from a different factory. So I used Vallejo for that. So I used Displacer Beast, Black Wash. Let's see, Pale Flesh, Sun Yellow. And German Camouflage Beige, World War II for the Ash Waste dusting. And Games Workshop used Bugmans Glow and Agrellan Earth technical paint. And that's it. So let's go ahead and get started on this guy. To start, I'm going to take some Army Painter Gunmetal, and I'm going to just use a brush that's been dyeing for a while, and we're just going to rough in all this spot. Not really worry about where we're hitting. So we have our gunmetal on. You can see he did a lot of the structure here. And the arms, pretty much all of this arm. Alright, next we're going to move on to some of the armor. So we're going to use Vallejo's Displacer Beast, so 92.413. I know they give it all different funny names. Let's get this in my palette. We want to be a little bit more controlled on this one, so we'll use two brushes. A large acreage, I'm just going to back to my messed up brush and get all the time I can out of it. Oh, that's done. Of course it is. And then we're going to need two coats of this, and for the detailed areas we'll use our thinner brush. So you can see what I painted with the Displacer Beast. Alright. And on the little arms for this guy. Alright, now we're going to take this wash, and we're going to take a dry brush I've been destroying, get a little wet here, and we'll just start slopping this on. Now our model's all dried up, so we're going to get some Shining Silver, and we're going to put some in our palette here. Okay, now we're going to need a dry brush, functioning one this time. Yeah, right there. We're going to dry off a lot of it. And just go around. Now there's a couple bits here I'll want to use just a sharper brush. So that is, get some of these bolts, just a little line. Just going around the edge. There's some of the detail work. trying to avoid getting in the blue armor. Let's punch it up a little bit more after I dry brushed it. Now we're going to go back to our Army Painter Displacer Beast. And we're going to do kind of the same thing. Let me find a more. There we go. Get a dry brush. Wipe it off a little bit. Now before, when we had the silver might hit the blue, this time we can clean it up, so make sure not to hit the silver. Now we're going to start the process of painting the yellow sections. So I've got the metal and the armor done, and I'm going to take some Vallejo Pale Flesh 92's 003. I'm just going to put one thin coat using my sharp brush very precisely on the areas we want yellow. Next up is Sun Yellow from Vallejo. And I'm just going to put one coat down over everything we painted with the pale flesh. Alright, now the yellow's looking really good, so I'm going to take him out of his little base, and I'm going to get some Bugmans Glow. Don't worry, that paint's drying out, it's not going to go anywhere. Let me get a brush if messed up. I've got a lot of those. And we're going to paint the bottom of the base if this Bugman's Glow will work, which it is not. Alright, we're going to paint with Bugman's Glow. Now we're going to use some Army Painter Flesh Wash. Take a little beat up brush here, and this is for just a light little coat. Too heavy. Pull some of this off. Just a light little stain on the yellow. So you make sure your brush is moistened so that you don't get too much wash on there. And then I can go to work while this thing dries. Oh wait, got one more step. Now I won't put it on the lights. Now as I wait for the wash to dry, I'm going to take some Agrellan Earth. And this is starting to separate too, it's been a while. I'm going to just pile thick globs of it on. Then I can go to work, and this will dry into a nice cracked ash waste for me. Now that it's dried, we'll go back to our Sun Yellow here. You can see where some of the wash pooled. Yes. We're just gonna put as many layers as it takes to turn that from looking like a liquid dried on there to looking like corrosion. So this might be anywhere from 1 to 2 layers. We'll do that on all the yellow. Except the lights, we don't need to do that. We didn't wash them. Now we're going to do some highlighting. We're going to take some Army Painter Wolf Gray. We're going to take our brush here. So let me see. I'm going to grab my palette. I'm going to dip it. I'm going to pull it away. I basically want the paint along the edge of the brush. Got a little yellow there, so we're going to get highlighted blue. So I'm just going to edge highlight here. Not everywhere. Let's just make the plates pop. Do like the top part of the surface is where the light would go, and cascade down. And make like little streaks. Like that. Cool. And you just flavor to taste. Don't want too much paint on here. Too much, just wipe it off with your finger. That's what they're there for. So you can see how the highlighting just changes the look of the model. But we're ready to do some detailing work here. Put these little arms back on. So let's go to our, actually, use Army Painter Pure Red, Army Painter Snake Scales. And we're going to do their optics. So just a little tiny dot right there. Oops, bumped that. Okay, clean out the brush. Gonna go to our red. I am not shooting straight tonight. Trying to make it look a little glowy here. And I'll add it when I got the red out. And do some of this cabling. Now we're going to use some Army Painter Matte White. Let me switch to a tinier brush. Something like that. And what we're going to do is dip it, wipe most of it off, and then just kind of touch the upper right corner. Little lenses. There we go. They kind of look like they're glowing. We're going to go to these headlights and draw little lines in them, little L's in some of these cells here. wipe some of that off. So we go from the bottom up. Just some diagonal lines, some dots, something to make it look like the center of the light is intense. Now for my favorite part, we're going to use Vallejo's German Camouflage Beige World War II. Any beige would work. Army Painter Skeleton Bone, something like that. But we're going to take a dry brush. It doesn't have to be a nice one. I'm going to wipe off most of the paint. And I just brush the top. And then I go around. Kind of dirty up the bottom here. You can decide how much you want to dust them up. Wouldn't go too high, because you got to imagine, I want the arms interchangeable with my underhide version, which would not have ash waste dust on it. So you kind of want to stop the dust right around here before it gets up the arms. That way the arms are interchangeable with my underhide version. So get in there. There you go. Give a sense where to stop. So that one hangs down a little farther, so I'll stop right there. But you can see that's how he looks. I'm happy with these guys, little twins. Alright, well, thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs, and we'll see you next time.